So we got a supply dilemma. And this is what I've talked to a lot of people about before is, so many people are worried about these prices just to fall. And I want to go over what we were looking at. So year over year, this is Orange County. So let's talk a little bit about Orange County. We'll talk about what what the scenario is for all of the United States, but here's Orange County as a full holistic view since 2013. So we're looking at 10 years um, across the border. Okay, um, not the Mexico California border or Canada California border, or United States border, but across the board of this situation of the housing supply challenge that I for sure see across Southern California now with multiple offers again, which I'd rather not go into that scenario. I'd rather it just kind of slowly pace out where buyers are still getting in. And there's some that are still getting in, but so Orange County March listings inventory year over year since March 2013. So 3257 was the amount of listings back in 2013, all the way up to a high in 2019 of 6,000. Sorry, I'm looking at a graph. 6,366. So basically doubled from the time it went from 2013 all the way up to 2019. And now where are we at? March of 20, and this because we're in April now, so April 10th, but we're looking back in March because that gives us the most clear data. But we're looking at 2218. So we're even 1,000 lower than we were in 2013, which 2013 was one of the biggest years in demand uptick because everybody started having confidence in the US economy after it dropped so significantly in housing in 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12. So now you see this. Okay, well, everybody's like, yeah, it's going to crash. It's going to crash. That's not that's not what we're seeing because the inventory, if the inventory started to tick up, going dramatically higher, then I could see that's being a problem. But you have some people that are like, well, what about the after the pandemic and everything else? Well, in 2021, in March of 2021, we had 2,366 active listings. So just 100 more than we have now. In March 2022, we had 1406. So obviously 2022 was very, very hot. And then it really cooled off once the Fed started getting in there and tinkering with the prices and everything else. 2018, we had 4420. 2017, 4571. 2016, 5,444. 2015, 5,433, and 5,403 for 2014. So hopefully that helps. That's some clarity there, and we have a lot that are missing. So to give you contextual data for what we faced in 2019 versus now what we're facing now for inventory across the United States. Inventory across the United States in 2019 was about close to 2 million, about 2 million. And right now we're sitting at 970. So 970,000 active listings on the market, which you're going to get those multiple offer situations. You get, like, if you talk to a lot of people up in the East Coast, Connecticut, parts of New York, parts of, the Carolinas, there are multiple offer situations, which we never really had too much of, in those teen years of the 20s, of the 2000s. So when you go through a process and analytical lens of what's going on in real estate, you don't realize that what the impact has on inventory. So We're lower than what we were in 2021, just a little bit, not significantly lower in inventory, but we still have those challenges that come up. So, um, that being said, we're in a scenario where the pending sales are dropping too because more people are jumping in on the pending sale or on properties, so that's dropping too. We do have a supply issue, and that's going to force appreciate properties. It's going to force property values up higher, 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 and higher, or at least keep them stable because obviously with the interest rates as they're higher than they were, that's the other challenge is you have other factors in the scenario that are driving the price points. So I think that prices are going to stay stable, maybe appreciation of 1 to 2% because we have that. The reason that we had such a big, and I'll continue to say this, but because we had such a huge, even though I wasn't an agent back then, the reason we had such a huge downfall of pricing back then, way back then, is because we ran into an issue of supply. Supply was huge. It was unreal how much supply there was. So, that being said, we need to make sure that we are 100% watching the market for our clients and saying, hey, if we are in a multiple offer situation, we need to counter them at X, Y, and Z because if not, we're gonna lose out on the property that you guys really want to move into, or the school district that you want to be in, or close to the church that you want to be in, or close to the ocean, or close to the river, or close to the downtown, whatever it is. You need to fight for your clients. You need to be realistic and you need to tell them what these scenarios are these days versus what they were 6 months ago. And the market's always going to go up and down. It's always going to go up and down. So you need to realize that you have to fight for these people that are your clients. And then on the flip side, if you're a client of, an agent, you need to make sure that agent's fighting for you and telling you the truth and saying like, hey, after the 20th offer, I've been there with clients. After the 20th offer, yeah, we'll just keep, throwing in offers to see what happens. No, what do I need to do to get into a house today? And if you don't feel comfortable, then maybe it's just not your time to buy. Not trying to be rude, but maybe you just need to pump the brakes because it makes you feel uncomfortable submitting an offer $20,000-$30,000 above asking. Not saying that that's what we're in. I'm getting multiple offers at list price. So those scenarios are happening on a daily basis here. I just listed a property. We did like $30,000 of updates, and it put us into a bracket where that property had been on the market for 120 days. He called me after two agents couldn't get the deal done. We listed it after we remodeled it because I said you either got to sell it for lower or we need to fix it up to get it sold. And we did that. And now we're in a scenario where we have 6 offers on the table, which is huge, He didn't have that. He had a 0 offer situation the past, what is that, 4 months that he had it listed. So now I'm providing him some value. He was willing to do the work, but sometimes clients aren't willing to do the work. So price it accordingly. You need to say, okay, well, hey, maybe we do a little less on the list price because you don't want to do the work. That's fine. That's not a big deal. I don't want to deter you from selling your home, but or getting the price that you want. But at the same time, we got to be cognizant that that's one thing I do see with all these multiple offers. Maybe it's a scenario where the person is in a situation where um, they don't want to drop their price too much, but they also don't want to sit on the market too long. So just tell them like, hey, these are the properties that are on the market these days. So look at those comps, know those comps, and then project what they can sell for. So, and then depending on how many actives are in that little community that you're listing or in that city that you're listing, that's one thing that's going to be huge too. So, all that being said, make sure that you're educating the client, and then vice versa, make sure your agent is educating you. Hopefully that helps. Hopefully that gives you some context on what the market's doing these days in California, what it's doing across the board, across the United States. Hopefully you guys took some value out of this. We'll check you guys next week with another guest. And like I said, this was the second podcast of the week. I just did 2 short ones because I felt like it provided a little bit of value and context on the market. Thanks for listening. Oh, leave a rating and review too if you can. I forget that sometimes. Thanks.